Hey, Coach Scott here. Today we're going to talk about why you are training too hard, but you're not training hard enough. Strange, but true. I see this a lot. I'm going to go through some points and I'm going to talk about you. Yes, you sitting there watching this video. I'm going to actually try and give you a reference point that you fall into because this is a common problem. I'm going to be talking about trauma that's been created from hard efforts, and that trauma, you've actually manipulated a lifestyle or a training plan that avoids it and you stay away from it. We're going to fix that. I'm going to finish up and I'm going to give you 3 rules. I could give you a lot more, but these 3 rules, if you apply even just one of them, it will progress your training. Okay, right. Why is the green screen up, etc.? Well, I'm in the studio getting ready for a workout that's 6 hours away. That seems organised for you, coach, with your Springer Spaniel brain. Now, what it is something that was taught to me a long time ago, and this is not just about visualisation, because that usually is about the result, what I'm going to perform like. I'm setting up the green screen, the camera, etc. because I'm making an emotional contact. I'm making an emotional connection with the workout that I'm going to do later, live. Some of you may, well, you've probably done it by the time you watch this, but the thing is, that connection's important because I'm trying to process it into my life. Okay, how's my day going to go? I've got this workout. It's not a last minute thing, it's planned, it's on my A plan that I'm doing this workout. And just by making this little touch in, you might do it driving in your car. Okay, I got a workout, got to finish this, do that, I'll get home, I'll start it at this time, boom. Okay? That's important. So before we even look at anything, if you're not doing that, get it started. Start making emotional connections with what you are about to do that day and tomorrow, etc. Right, so the thing is, people have got excuses to why they're training too hard. Let's go through the excuses first. 1, are you the person that says, I haven't got enough time? Oh, life is so busy, I haven't got enough time. What if I told you that an amateur rider who trains between, let's say, 6 and 10 hours a week, 6 and 10 hours a week, that's a good volume of time, isn't it? 10 hours, that's like a part-time job. If we use 8 hours a night for sleeping, yeah, in your dreams, coach, but let's use it. Take that away, give yourself the rest of the time, you know, to live your life, work, do all your other things. If we take away the 6 to 10 hours for training, that equates to something like 5 to 9% of your waking hours. 5 to 9%, under 10%. So that leaves most people 90% of the week to be a fanny, to screw up their lifestyle. We put so much emphasis into the workout that we forget it is about the recovery. Now, you know that I go on about this a lot and you know this, but you've got to understand that the workout is such a short period of time. It is a very important period of time, but chasing harder workouts just because you think you've got no time is not the answer that you need to the problem you've got of improving your fitness. The other thing, people miss workouts. Is that you? Schedule gets a little bit ahead of you and you miss a workout, so tomorrow I'll make up for it. I'll go super hard. You end up doing far too many hard workouts because you're missing workouts because your lifestyle and your structure is shit. Okay? What about you don't really like yourself? You look in the mirror and you go, what a wanker. Okay? What I mean is, you've got low ability, you've possibly got some form of imposter syndrome. Now, I'm not going to go into doing some TED talk on imposter syndromes, although I would, because some people talk a load of shit. However, the thing about this is, ability has got no connection with your FTP, with your fitness level. I've talked about this before, and you've got to understand that. So, because you are an amateur, doesn't mean that you can't have professional practices. So, forget that and stop putting yourself down. Anyway, that's just something for future videos as well. And join me in my live videos where we do talk about that. Where we talk about that and develop. Now, the next thing is, you might just be a fanny. Yeah, you just might be the person that just constantly allows their ego to get the better of them. Now, please note that we are all fannies to a degree, but our fanny scale goes up and down day to day. But what we must do is control it. What I'm getting at when I say we're all a fanny is your fanny score is related to your ego and how much you can suppress that ego. Because if you're training too hard, yeah, Ego is dominating your life, never mind your training. Step back and think about that. Okay, right, let's look at some examples of scarring on your brain. Yes, creating a scar, creating trauma. The first thing that I see from riders is FTP tests. When was the last time you did an FTP test? Do they scare you? Do you not want to go back? An FTP test can become a behavioural response because you set a score and you know you have to beat that score. What happens when you see a finish line or when you see the last 10 seconds of an effort? Quite simply, you produce more effort, don't you? It's not rocket science, but why can you produce more? It's because psychologically you make a connection with the finish, that's it, all over, I can go hard, finish. But that effort that you can raise is actually something that is there all the time. There is always a little bit more you can give. Okay? However, when it becomes an FTP test, the trauma, the difficulty, you're not quite ready for that, or you've put too much pressure on yourself. So you avoid it and you make excuses. What about that group ride? Or you got dropped on the first one, you're not going back there. What about that hill that you went up in a headwind? I'm not using that in my training again. What about those long VO2 efforts? Well, they were difficult, I don't want to do that again. My point is that we create an overreaching that was too much. Now, overreaching is great, but for you, has that become an issue? And you don't want to go back there because you've made it difficult. I don't actually do many FTP tests. There are so many other ways. Many people, you may be watching this and you use some form of adaptive training, AI intelligence. Look, a lot of that's a load of bollocks, okay? You can manipulate your FTP based on your zone 2. Hey, we'll save that for another video, or come and join me in school where we talk about this sort of thing. But what I'm getting at is you start to create this truth from a lie. You start to avoid. So here's what happens. Because you've avoided the FTP test, let's say, or you've avoided the group ride, you go that little bit harder in every training session. But what this does is it allows you to fall into what I call the triangle effect. If you look at your power zone or your heart zones, they've got this triangle effect whereby the middle, the zone 3, zone 4 on a heart rate, or the zone 3 in a power, is greater. And this is not what we're wanting, okay? Because you fall into that sub-threshold zone 3 fanny. Yeah, that's all you're doing. You're not going hard enough to break through the great limits that you've set on your body's resistance, and you're not going soft enough to actually recruit more mitochondrial, okay? Training is about recruitment and then training. Recruitment, train, recruit, train. You want to bring more in and train it and make it more efficient. Do you want some rules how to break through that terrible schedule that you've hit? Well, let's look at intensity first of all, because I am not giving you an excuse to avoid those sessions. I want you making positive connections with them because they link to your goals, okay? But you only do things that work for you, not for anyone else. Okay, right, get into it, coach. Rule number 1. Well, rule number 1 is quite simple. The 2-hour rule. So I want you to look at your high intensity exercises, your long, hard ones, your key sessions, breakthrough sessions, whatever you want to call them. You need to finish that workout and have a 2-hour gap before you climb into bed. Is that possible? Because your sleep will be impacted with a higher core temperature if you do not bring it down. Now, this may be happening to you already. Sleep sometimes a little bit disrupted when you've done that hard workout, but you just put it down to the hard workout. You need to change that because your sleep, your recovery, la da 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 da. You know what's going on here, right? You must not do that. So, here's what to do. Try and build in core temperature decreasement through cold shower, or if you've got the opportunity to run a cold bath, nobody else is going to jump in it in the house during the workout. Finish the cool down, climb in the bath, have it up to your waist, wiggle about in there for about 8 minutes. This will help you cool down. It will certainly help the leg muscles. Another thing is, if you live in Scotland, just stand outside for a couple of seconds. Only joking, the sun does shine sometimes. But what we're trying to do is to lower core temperature. Okay, so there are lots of ways, okay, to do this. But if you cannot do that and you're really not being able to finish at the 2 hours, you have to then flip the workout, either make it shorter and achieve your high intensity, or go soft. Okay? I am not saying don't do a workout, because that person, that's when they're looking for an excuse. They start to create a truth from a lie. That really dangerous scenario. Well, the coach said it's too late. There's no point in me doing a workout. No. Get on to a zone 1, zone 2. Because this makes the cognitive connection. Yeah. This helps with lifestyle. This helps you make positive actions. Remember, I always talk about people who are full of wonderful ideas, full of wonderful morals. This is how I live my life. Your life is lived through actions, not through words. What you do, okay, will determine how far we get. Not what you bloody talk about, okay? Now, rule number 2, okay? Super easy but hard to do. I want you to keep the same volume or time in the week, but increase your touch points, okay? Increase the touch points. So that might mean that an hour ride or a 2-hour ride becomes 30 and 60. You may split up the day. I want you to do that. This is a fantastic way that I have used for decades with people to help them improve their absorption of the workout. You see, the thing is, when you're working hard and you're lying in that puddle of sweat and you're feeling like you're Rocky Balboa, the trouble is, have you got the capacity to recover? The catabolic phase is super important. I've just told you, you've got 90% roughly of waking time, okay, to screw up that really good workout. You're not eating well, you're not managing stress well, your sleep shit, you're watching crap on TV, you've got a crappy boss that's putting deadlines on that you're not coping with. Look, lifestyle matters, okay? So, this drill, by increasing the touch points, helps you go softer, because you're worried about being able to do the next workout, and it helps limit the time so you don't overload so much. You don't cause that much stress on your immune system that you can't cope with it. So it teaches your body, and it's a fantastic way. Come on, are you one of the riders who maybe does a couple of rides during the week? It maybe amounts to an hour, 90 minutes, and then at the weekend you do 5, 6, 7 hours, and you're screwed. Right? Because you've just placed far too much stress on the system. But you're probably one of these people. Not enough time, missing workouts. I want results quick. Yeah, and you're chasing something that your body just can't accommodate because your fanny score's at 99% because your ego is punching the shit out of you, okay? Right, increase touch points. Wonderful way to both teach you to improve your fitness and your lifestyle. Number 3, couldn't be simpler, but I bet you're not doing it. Increase your cool down. I mean, how simple is that? What, really, coach, this will help? Yes, especially with older riders, especially. If we do a hard workout and we go over threshold, we need roughly 6 to 10 minutes to allow oxygen to be the champion in that recovery phase, to eliminate that higher level of CO2, carbon dioxide, that's in the system. Some people are doing 2 or 3 minutes and then jumping off. Oh, I've got the 2-hour rule, I need to get off. The cool down is part of the workout. If you're doing 10 minutes right now, try for the next month. At least 2 or 3 of your workouts, take that 10 minutes to 20 minutes. What you've got to understand is oxygen is life. So oxygen will break down the metabolites that are left, particularly, that lactic acid if it's floating around. Now, genetically, you've got some gifts, but you've also got some limitations. And they vary from person to person. But also your immune system. People talk about, I need to boost my immune system. You can't, okay? You regulate your immune system, but it will lower, become suppressed. But you don't want it going super high. I mean, you don't want that, okay? You end up with a disease like mine where your immune system is boom, 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 kicking the shit out of you. However, what you've got to understand is that cool down phase, increasing the level of oxygen at low intensity is important because the oxygen is a flusher, it's a cleaner, really good, okay? Your heart is a pump, okay, that pumps the blood and helps to flush, but so are your muscles. That actin and myosin, as they slide over, creates a pumping effect. And your legs way down here, Okay, it's got to come up against gravity. Spend a little bit longer. Decrease your heart rate gradually. It could be the difference in your recovery. Hey, that's 3 rules, 3 simple rules that you can follow. There's so many more. And if you want more, come and join me in school. Link is in the description, or join me every Monday where I've got my live podcast. We share so much more and I will answer your questions. There's a lot more to training than just a workout. And don't fall foul of thinking you're working hard when actually you're not working hard enough, but you're working too hard to recover from, because the rest of your life is pretty shit. Lifestyle matters. Put 2 people on the same training program and of course there'll be different outcomes because of genetics. But give one a cleaner, simpler lifestyle. Yeah, who's going to win that race? Okay, right. Let's get ready for my live, which is a hard session, but under an hour as well. Oh, there's another couple of videos, coach. Can we do hard sessions in under an hour? You take care, keep spinning, and remember, anyone can train hard. There's only a few of us can train smart.